Today, we're going to talk about something that's a huge headache for even the best data teams out there: data downtime. You know, when the data just breaks. But don't worry, there's a really powerful solution, and it comes from combining two key ideas: data lineage and data observability.
So, imagine this. You walk into work, grab your coffee, and bam, there's a message from your CEO. The big revenue report, the one everyone relies on, it's totally wrong. The numbers are just out of whack. And now you're staring at this massive, complicated web of data systems and you're thinking, where do I even begin? That feeling of panic, that's exactly why we need to talk about this.
All right, so to really get a handle on the solution, we've got to first understand where the problem's coming from. And believe it or not, it's actually baked into the way we build our data systems today. Let's dive into what I like to call the paradox of the modern data stack.
So the modern data stack, or MDS as you'll hear it called, has been a total game changer, right? It's this awesome cloud-based setup where you can pick and choose the absolute best tool for every single part of your data pipeline. It gives you so much flexibility, so much speed. You just kind of plug them all together and you're ready to go.
And wow, when you look at it laid out like this, you can see just how many moving pieces there are. You've got your data sources over here. They get pulled in by tools like Fivetran, then dumped into a warehouse like Snowflake. After that, something like dbt comes in to clean it all up and transform it. And then finally, it shows up in a dashboard on Tableau or Looker. Every single step is a different tool, a different service.
Okay, but here's the catch. Here's the paradox. The very thing that makes the MDS so powerful, all those separate best-of-breed tools, is also its biggest problem. See, each tool is great at its own job, but it's completely blind to what the other tools are doing. This creates these observability gaps. It's like each tool is in its own little silo. So when something inevitably breaks, you have no way to see the whole picture. There's no single map to tell you where the problem is, let alone why it happened.
So how do we fix this? How do we connect all those dots? Well, the first step is you've got to build a map. And that brings us to our first big idea: data lineage.
Think of data lineage as the Google Maps for your data. It's the complete end-to-end blueprint that shows you the entire life story of every piece of data. We're talking from the moment it's created, through every single twist and turn and transformation it goes through, all the way until it lands on that final dashboard. It answers those two critical questions: where did you come from, and what happened to you along the way?
Okay, so it's really important to get this straight. Lineage is not the same as observability. Lineage is all about the past and the structure. It's the map. It asks, where did the stuff come from? Observability is completely different. It's all about what's happening right now. It's like taking your data's pulse, asking, are you okay at this very second?
And that's the perfect lead into the second piece of our solution. If lineage is the blueprint of the building, then observability is like the live security camera feed and all the sensors wired into every room.
See, data observability is so much more than just running a few simple checks you've already thought of. It's about getting this deep, holistic view of your data's health so you can spot and fix issues you never even anticipated. You know, the unknown unknowns. It's less of a smoke detector and more of a full-on, proactive health monitor for your entire data system.
And this whole idea usually breaks down into 5 key pillars. Observability tools are constantly checking your data's freshness. Is it recent? They're looking at its distribution. Are the numbers inside the normal range? They check its volume. Did we get all the data we were expecting? And the schema. Has the format or structure suddenly changed? But check this out. The 5th and most important pillar is lineage itself. Lineage is what gives all that other information context. It's the glue that holds it all together.
And this, right here, is the absolute heart of the matter. Lineage and observability aren't just two separate, nice-to-have things. They work together. They're synergistic. And it's only when you put them together that you can finally figure out the why when your data breaks. I love this analogy because it just nails it. An observability alert without lineage is like a smoke alarm blaring at a massive skyscraper. You know something is wrong, that's the what, but you don't have the building's blueprint, the lineage. So you have no clue which floor the fire is on, how it started, or, and this is crucial, what else is about to go up in flames. Without that context, the alarm is basically just noise.
So let's walk through how this actually works in practice, how you go from a vague alert to real action. Step 1, your observability tool detects the problem. It says, hey, the data volume just dropped off a cliff. Step 2, you immediately jump to your lineage map.
You trace backwards, upstream, and bingo, you find the root cause. It was a broken transformation job an hour ago. And then step 3, use that same lineage map to look forwards, downstream, to see the blast radius. You can instantly see every single dashboard, every single report that's now showing bad data because of that one failure. This is how you go from a fire drill that takes days to a fix that takes minutes. It's a huge difference.
Okay, this all sounds great on a whiteboard, but what does it actually mean for the business? What's the real-world impact? Well, let's look at some hard numbers and see how this actually drives real-world results.
Because, let's be real, when you're talking to your CFO or CEO, they don't care about pipelines and schemas. They care about 3 things: risk, time, and money. And that is precisely where this whole approach shines. Let's dig into a couple of case studies that prove it.
All right, first up, a major U.S. bank. By bringing in Data Observability, they could suddenly prove to regulators exactly how their data was being handled. They had a perfect audit trail. The bottom line? They dodged over $10 million in potential fines. I mean, that's not a small number. That's a massive direct impact. And it wasn't just about playing defense either. That same bank got their data so clean and so timely that they slashed their SLA breaches, that's when data arrives late, by an amazing 96%. And what does that mean in the real world? It means faster loan approvals, smarter marketing campaigns, stuff that actually makes the company money.
And hey, this isn't just for huge established banks. Look at a fast-growing company like PhonePe, a digital payments platform. They were expanding like crazy, but their data systems were struggling to keep up. By putting observability in place, they boosted their data quality by 46%. That gave them the solid foundation they needed to keep growing at lightning speed without everything falling apart.
So, what's next? Where does this all go from here? Well, all the signs are pointing towards more automation and a pretty fundamental shift in how we think about data quality. We're really building what you could call the future of data trust.
One of the coolest ideas gaining traction right now is something called data contracts. The best way to think about it is like an API, but for your data. It's basically a formal, written promise between the people who create the data and the people who use it. It guarantees things like the data's format and its quality. And what this does is it shifts the responsibility for quality way earlier in the process, shifting left, as engineers say. The goal is to stop bad data before it even gets into the system in the first place.
When you zoom out, all of these things, smarter observability, data contracts, this idea of data as a product, they're all pointing in the same direction. They're all converging on one big, powerful idea. It is long past time that we start treating our data with the exact same level of discipline and engineering seriousness that we've been applying to software development for decades. And that really leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? For software, we have all these amazing mature practices like CI/CD and site reliability engineering, all designed to make sure our code is solid and our systems don't fall over. So, given that data is now the lifeblood of pretty much every business on the planet, isn't it about time we gave it that same level of respect?